So it's an incredible amount of courage. We feel like we live in a police state right now. Some of us are working on the Calgary events.
Right now, that national park is occupied by Russians. They are taking our kids. They are taking their nationality from those kids.
That's no. But I know Rebel has been investigated.
There is a genocide happening in Ukraine because Ukrainians are killed just because they are Ukrainians, just because they are speaking Ukrainian. Our kids are taken from Ukraine and still are not returned. And the world terrorist is walking on this earth without any punishment. So that's why we are here.
What Ukraine is experiencing is not just war, it's genocide. A deliberate attempt to erase not only our army, but our culture. From their homes, in front of their children, they were hooted, not allowed to say goodbye, taken to place unknown.
Not to be forgotten. It's very important for entire world just to remember that the world is ongoing in the middle of the Europe. It's 2025 outside, and we went back in progress. Instead of progressing, we're going back, and we're going back to the war, back to the Second World War. It seems like the history never taught people anything, and we're just doing the same mistakes. And
yeah, I have all of my family in Ukraine. I have all of my friends, my grandparents, my parents, and it feels like it's every day like last. And like every day I call them, and every night I'm afraid that they will not call me back.
І ми знову запитуємо себе, як рятуватися нам і всім іншим, як рятувати своїх дітей. Наша базова потреба – просто жити щодня під загрозою.
And once again, we ask ourselves, how do we survive if something terrible happens again? How do we protect our children? Our most basic need, simply to live, is constantly under threat.
I think for a lot of the time the Jewish people kept their identity hidden. They were scared because not everyone wants us to exist. So I am here to show that we do exist, even if it's just me, that at least one of us stands up. It shows that we should show our identity, and it doesn't mean we have to hide who we are.
I think like the idea of the G7 is really good, like, you know, everybody coming here and discussing things civilly, but I think that given the stuff going on in the US right now and Trump's rhetoric and his attitude and the things that he's been pushing for and pushing against on certain people, I think it's just wrong, and I don't stand for that. I don't want that in Alberta or in Canada. I think that we're better than that, and I think that yeah, he shouldn't have been let in, honestly.
Represents host countries where we are imported for exploitation, both through direct targeted recruitment.
For the people, for the planet. Are you ready to take back power? Yeah! Are you ready to take back power? Yeah! Let's do it.
So if that becomes contaminated, it can have absolutely horrible.
Well, and Trump has just turned the world upside down and just taking his autocratic control of the U.S. and putting his influence on us in Canada, but around the world. And you know, and when you talk to Americans, they're as unhappy as we are. So.
So the G7 represents link these to the contamination of water, the wildfires, land.
And we want to send a message to those leaders at the 51st G7 summit. Noticeably absent from their agenda is any meaningful forum on the pressing issue of climate change and on the pressing issue of Indigenous self-determination. And they're not addressing the regional conflicts in much of the world.
Be in the rooms, be at the negotiations. We need to rethink what we are doing. And we also need to do more organizing, more.
Час зупинитися, бо ми дуже близько до точки неповернення.
Every bomb, every explosion bring not only unbearable.
What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?